Today in the Smuggler's Room, we're taking inspiration from Norm and we're gonna build a project similar to what he did on Tested.
So you're gonna steal his idea?
No, we're not stealing anything. We're inspired by what he built.
Way to be original.
We're not gonna build the same exact thing.
So let me get this straight. You're not gonna build a Book Nook that's in the Death Star.
Yes, it's in the Death Star.
That's coming up.
What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian and welcome to the Smuggler's Room. This week, this chubby geek is not stealing, but building from inspiration. Recently, Norm built an amazing Book Nook based on Star Wars, and that got us cranked up to try our own. So Norm, if you happen upon this in your journey across the interwebs, we say thank you for planting the seed, because this project is gonna be a blast. All right, my friends, let's get into it.
Okay, here we go, my friends. We're gonna start off this project with these.
I ran across this set of Death Star trash compactor figures equipped with Han and Luke as well as Leia and Chewie. It even comes with the trash compactor monster known as the Dianoga. That there might be a pretty cool looking Book Nook. The trash compactor. So that's what we're gonna do. Now what we need to do is design the box and the actual Book Nook. Okay, Illustrator is my software of choice to build this project, and I really had to challenge myself. I really wanted to create this entirely from scratch. I had to determine the overall size and then create each one of these sections. The challenge for me is drawing in 2D, but thinking in 3D. I used reference images from StarWarsScreenCaps.com, and that helped me determine what type of detail I needed. I also was determined to create a version of the entrance to the trash compactor that had those iconic Death Star wall oval patterns. Now I know technically speaking, the door our four heroes exit is on the opposite side, but I wanted to see the door, so I took some artistic licensing here. Now that we have all of these panels designed, we have to send them to the laser cutter to cut out all of our pieces. Can I take a moment to say how much we appreciate our Patreon members? You may not believe it, but all of you make this channel possible. We thank you so much. So as we're adding all the depth and levels to the actual model, I want to point out the 1, 2, 3 block. Now, these are typically machinist blocks. They're threaded on the insides. You can see here, you might be able to see in those holes. If you can't see it, each of those holes are threaded. And like I said, they're used for machinists. However, they work amazingly when you're working on stuff. I use them all the time. Bill Duran with Punished Props and Brittany Duran, those two are where I actually learned of these. and it's almost a rite of passage in a way. And I find that I use them for weights, for gluing. I use them to square things up, obviously. As you can see on this right here, I can actually put them against the frame. I can use a clamp, and then when I put these in place, I'm sure to have them lined up where they need to be, so that when I install this later, everything will fit the way it's supposed to be. The only funny thing is, it looks like my lines are just slightly off here. I'm not exactly sure how or why that's happening, but either way, it goes to show that this is kind of the better way to do this. Then I can put these in and I can line them up. But anyway, the 1, 2, 3 blocks. Awesome. For the inside of the trash compactor, I used a combination of rattle can spray paint for the base, a few airbrush paints, and then for the weathering, I used acrylic paints that I could streak with water. The inside of the compactor obviously needs a good deal of weathering, so I applied several layers and used water to help give it a distressed look. I have found that when doing this type of work, the more layers you can apply with varying degrees of thickness, the better the end result will be. Think of this as years of grimy trash building up over time. I forgot to tell you, Chris, of that whole last section with the lights on, you can pull that clip and obviously this one out and not use it in the actual video. I forgot to tell you. Okay, so the set I bought had some pretty great texture, all things considered, but I think it would benefit from a few more bits and pieces. I thought about adding a layer of trash. It would give the whole thing another level of dimension. So I picked through my stash of parts, and I found items that were either a little worn or even had a bit of grime on them already. Overall, these pieces seem to make the set a bit more interesting. Now, one aspect that bothered me from the set was the long piece of pipe Princess Leia attempts to use to stop the compactor. It was the wrong color, so I added rub and buff to it to give it a silver sheen and then weathered that. One choice I made was to paint the back of these acrylic doors. I used a metallic black on the airbrush, and that gave me a really nice reflective surface on the front. Then I added a couple of details in the recessed panels, and it really came out nice. I kept the lighting for this super simple and cheap. It was a small LED strip that had connecting leads between each length of LED. This let me light up the columns separately and then also light up the top of the piece. The one aspect I didn't think through all the way was where the power cord stuck out. It ended up coming out of the top, and in hindsight, I wish I would have created a channel so it poked out the bottom. Yep, I know. I messed up. You saw that, right? I don't even know what to say. It's inexcusable. And I know all of you die-hard Star Wars fans, you're running to the comments right now to point out my mistake, my failure. Let me just say, I'm only human. I make mistakes. I need your forgiveness. For all the rest of you that are wondering what happened, I misquoted. It should have read, "What an incredible smell you've discovered." I know. I have no excuse. It's a failure. So, let's just proceed. give a huge thank you again to Norm from Tested. We'd been admiring Book Nooks for a long time, and when we saw his, my mind started to spin, and I realized that the trash compactor would be a perfect project for a Book Nook. I also really enjoyed the modeling aspect of this. Now I realize 100% we were heavy on the laser cutter for this project, and I know it's a luxury tool that not everyone has. That said, we really wanted to do this project and get your creative juices flowing. I've already started thinking of other Book Nooks I'd like to try, using styrene and foam. I'm thinking the Hoth Rebel base with the Wampa crashing through the wall. That sounds pretty good. And if Carissa has anything to say about it, I see a Nightmare on Elm Street version really soon in my future. But, you know what I always say, that'll have to wait till the next time we build something out of nothing. So, you gonna apologize to Norm?
I didn't steal his idea.
Uh-huh.
If anything, I'll reach out and thank him.
Well, just don't steal any of my ideas.
We're the same person.
No, I don't look anything like that.